Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool, the podcast where you get vetted swim workouts from two professional triathletes and tips on how to swim better. We are not trying to gatekeep any swim workouts here. We're just throwing them away we're just tossing them in the air for free like Oprah. Like you get a swim workout, you get a swim workout. Anyways, it's winter time for most people unless you're in the southern hemisphere, I guess. Who knows what the weather's like down there, but yeah, Greg, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, that's a good intro. We are not gatekeepers. And I always believe that you kind of you kind of get what you give. So we're out here, we just want to help you guys.
hmm
I swam in the Olympic trials back in the day. I've been swimming my whole life. Nate started swimming in community college and
hmm
got to a great level. So together we bring these unique perspectives and we're out here just talking about swimming, breaking down some sets, maybe talking some smack, but not too much.
Not too
And
much, but yeah.
we just want to help you guys get better.
Yeah, that's what we're about, you guys. We're just trying to help you get better at swimming because swimming's hard. I know how it is. Like, I swam when I was a kid for fun, but I wasn't setting records like Greg was when he was like 6 years old. So yeah, I started swimming more as like an adult when I was like 18, 19, and it was a lot to learn. So that's what we're trying to do, trying to help you guys get through those murky waters of swim technique and triathlon and all this stuff. So yeah, we're just bringing you swim workouts from all over the world. This is actually a workout from Ari Klau, professional triathlete, top 30 at Ironman 70.3 World Champs. Uh,
Big
Great,
YouTube channel.
big
Big
YouTube
YouTube
channel too.
channel.
Subscribe to Ari on YouTube. He's a funny guy.
We need some of
Um,
his subscribers, I think.
yeah, yeah,
He listens to the pod, so hopefully he'll listen to this.
yeah.
I actually invited him to come on one time, so maybe we'll have to talk about
Yeah,
his swim
we should
journey
get
one
him
time.
on the pod. That would be cool. But yeah,
So
give us
Ari's
some
been going
context. Yeah, for
Yeah,
this.
he's been going to the swim squad, I think, he lives in Seattle in that neck of
hmm
the woods. So he's been getting up early to go to the swim squad a few days a week because he's taken our advice and he knows that you have to swim with squad and people if you really want to elevate your swim game.
hmm
So this workout is from that squad and it looked like it was a hard stroke day. So yeah, we'll we'll dive into it after Nate's quick tip of the day.
Quick tip of the day. So every episode we got a quick tip for you. It's winter time, at least in the northern hemisphere. Some people are starting to race again. I'm seeing some race announcements on Instagram. Simon Shee posted he's doing Oceanside, Greg's doing Oceanside, and I'm not doing Oceanside, but I will be there to cheer people on. I will be there to cheer people on.
Yes.
So my tip is kind of for those early season races when it's a little bit cold, and this is for swimming, like at a pool or for triathlon. But like try and keep your hands warm, try and keep your upper body warm before the swim start. It's something that I think a lot of people neglect, but you will have a much better swim if you at least start warm versus like starting with your hands numb. Because if you start with your hands numb and you get into cold water, you're not going to have a good feel for it. And that feel for the water is so important, you guys. So that's my quick tip. One of the things you can do, wear gloves, put those little hot hands in them, those little beanbaggy things. I get a ton of them. And
Hand
I just,
warmers. Yeah,
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 those
yeah.
hand warmers. Yeah. I think Hot
That's a
Hands
good
is
tip,
maybe like
dude.
a brand. So I get
Yeah,
those, man.
yeah.
Like if you see me at Oceanside, you might be lucky and I'll just give you mine. Like if you really need them, like, but just get your own too. So yeah, I throw those in my transition backpack and my swim bag and yeah, tuck them on like the top of your gloves. They'll keep your hands nice and warm. And yeah, I mean, especially for triathlon, Greg knows like sometimes you get like 3.5 minutes to swim warm up. It's like there's not a lot you can do with that.
No, that's such super good tip. And if you're wearing a wetsuit, the only thing that's like you're really feeling the water is kind of your hands. So
hmm
if those don't have a good feel, it's like that's kind of the anchor of your stroke. I mean, yes, with the forearm, but that's the only thing that's physically like touching the water besides your face and stuff. So yeah, I think that's good. And
Yeah.
yeah, you can just wear a buff and put one of those on your face too, I guess, one of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
hot hands. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good tip.
hmm
My pops, my dad gave me a few of those back in the day when I was doing like the Treasure Island triathlon, and I was
hmm
always really small and cold, and he was like, "Oh, put these in your gloves." So
Yeah.
he's an ex-pro from the '80s, so
Dude,
he
your
he
dad
would.
is so funny, Greg. Like after he so for context, if you guys are longtime listeners of the pod, you know this. Greg's dad was like top 10 at Kona. He's like an OG guy. And he coaches the Cal Berkeley tri team. So he was at Triton Man, which is a race I did recently. And I saw him multiple times on the run course. We like made eye contact. He knows who I am, but he like didn't cheer for me at all. And then after the race, I get a text from Greg's dad. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't cheer for you, but you had a great race. I just didn't realize it was you." I was just like,
He's focused on victory. He can't cheer against the competition.
"Yeah,
I would
dude,
have I would have just been like, "Boo, Nate, go Cal."
I actually, I'll totally do that. Like, if you see me at Oceanside, I'll be like cheering for Greg, whoever's behind them. Nothing. They
Nothing.
won't get a peep from
But
me.
if you pass me, you can get cheered on again.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Anyways,
Well, hey, good quick tip. Let's kind of get into the workout.
yeah.
So it doesn't have a specific warm up on the board. I think it's kind of like talking to Ari. I think they kind of do like 10 minute, or you just kind you do a
Yeah.
little bit of warm up before. Um, but the first set is 12:25's kick, rest 10 seconds, and it's free kick, fly kick, breast kick with the board. So you repeat that four times
Dang.
for 12:25s. Yeah, this is kind of an IM type day, and I think doing a little bit of kicking for all the strokes is a good way to warm up. And fly kick with the board is hard to get a rhythm on for some people, even me
Hmm.
sometimes. So I think if you're a triathlete, I think doing this set would be tough, and you should go for it. You could probably sub out maybe a little bit of the IM stuff as we go through it for some maybe a little freestyle or something. But
Hmm.
yeah, solid warm up. I mean, it's first little set.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
cool. And you can always do fly kick on your back too if you need a little, because it is like it takes a lot of energy, so you might need a little more air, and it's just a little easier to get that on your back. So, yeah,
yeah,
I like to
true.
do that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the rhythm. So
nice.
875's next. The odds are breast pull with free kick, fly kick, and breast kick by 25. So, and the evens are smooth free, descend 1 to 4 to a strong effort. Yeah, so breast pull with free kick and dolphin kick. A lot of pro swimmers will do this type of stuff because you can really
Hmm.
lunge yourself forward. It is tough though, but if you
Hmm.
can get that down a little bit and kind of feel the rhythm of those two, a lot of people will use fins when they do this stuff. So if you've never done this before and you're not a strong breaststroker, you're gonna have a tough time probably doing this. Maybe try
Hmm.
it with fins and see if that makes it easier. Um, just one tip if you're doing any breaststroke weird pulls, your pole is small out front. Like you don't get stuck underneath your body. You kind of have a nice small pole up front, and the power in breaststroke really comes from the kick and like that
Hmm.
lunge forward. So be careful that we're not like pulling your elbows into your chest and getting stuck underneath yourself. So
Hmm.
that would just be a little tip on that.
Yeah, dude, we got to have Kyle on the pod and talk about breaststroke. Kyle,
Oh
so we had
yeah.
Kyle on the podcast a few episodes ago. He's a D1 college swimmer and a casual triathlete. He swims 51 for the 100 breast. So, yeah, he
Short
could
course yards, but
short
yes,
course yards. But
of course, obviously.
yeah, yeah. Wouldn't that be like world record for long
Yeah, well, no,
course
I think
speed?
long course record's like 57. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
Anyways, but pretty fast. So yeah,
not slow.
breaststroke's tough, but I mean, I really like it. I think it helps loosen up your legs from like cycling if you're a triathlete, because it kind of just like stretches them out there. And like we talk about swimming in different planes and how each stroke kind of helps build a more like complete swimmer. So yeah, I know this like if you're a triathlete listening to this episode and you're like, ah, for breaststroke or whatever, don't check out. Like listen to this episode, give it a try. And like Greg said, you could always like if you're totally cooked, sub it out for like freestyle. But like really give this a try. Like for you triathletes out there, it's gonna be tough, but I think you'll get better for it.
When you say, I like what you said about a complete swimmer, just we
Hmm.
talk about awareness and everything. You don't have to train endless amounts of breaststroke and be super good. But if you can't swim it without like drowning or getting DQ'd, like if you were in a race, you need to get to some competent level where, hey, I can swim this stroke. It's not deathly hard. and that will help your freestyle. And maybe you get bullied around a buoy and you do the weird breaststroke kick to like propel yourself from a standstill. Like there are
Hmm.
applications when little weird movements can come into a race in the open water too. So
Hmm.
yeah, all
Yeah.
right, what's next?
So we got 800s pull. Odds are back free, breast free. And then there's some intervals there. And then evens are free descend one through floor. And this is all pulling. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
kind of similar, a little
yeah.
similar to the set before. I like how the evens are free and we're kind of descending, so you're still getting in that little bit of work,
Hmm.
traditional freestyle. The backstroke, backstroke pull I think it can be tough for people too.
Yeah.
What you need to remember is like in backstroke pull, you need to rotate so much so you can catch that
Hmm.
water. A lot of people swim backstroke flat and their pulling is really close to the surface, but if you have the paddle, you'll just like slip out of the water. So you really need to rotate to get that kind of deep catch. So I think the paddles can help people with their backstroke technique a little bit. Although it's tough on the shoulders. This isn't a time for
Yeah.
massive paddles here. These are,
Use smaller paddles if you have them. Yeah.
yeah. And we always like small paddles in general. I think the
Yeah.
big paddles they're for old men who are trying to not be so slow anymore, not for us. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, back free, breast free. Yeah, and same thing. The breasts with the if with paddles, same thing. You got to keep that pole really short out front. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, once again, getting people out of their comfort zones. Then you go back to the free, and then you go back to the pole. Yeah, I just kind of like it. I mean, maybe I'll do a set like this, and probably be a little bit sore in a weird way that I wouldn't have before. So I think it's always good to change it up. You don't have to do a set like this 3 times a week, but tossing it in every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks, I think is a good move.
Yeah. And a lot of our sets, I think recently have been more freestyle dominant. So, I mean, this would be a great set to throw in there. Like, if you feel like you want to just mix it up a little. I bet you Ari, when it got to like the one through four, just freestyle, he's like, thank God, four
He,
100s freestyle.
I think he really struggles at back, so he kind of liked the breaststroke on this. But
Yeah.
now, so the next set is kind of like the meat and potatoes, I guess. It's kind of the harder
Yeah.
part. It's 350s IM transitions, also known as like IM roll through, or there's different names. Basically, the first one is fly back, second one's back breast, third one's breast free.
Hmm.
And IMers will do sets like this too, because you really want to focus on your walls. Like each
Yeah.
turn's a little bit different, so nailing that if you're a swimmer is super big. Um, and then it goes into a 200 IM, and you repeat that whole thing 3 times, and the 200 IMs descend 1 to 3. So yeah, you end up doing three 200 IMs. Even if this is a short course meters pool, I think he was doing it in.
Hmm.
Whatever pool you're in, that's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough work. I mean, three 200 IMs is a tough set. So yeah, this coach is yeah, tough coach. I'm sure he or she was on the deck just saying ha 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 like the 200 IMs descending. Um, but yeah, once again, tough set, get you out of your comfort zone. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I swam the 4 IM in community college, and we did a lot of these IM transition sets. Especially for me, because I was like learning how to do all these strokes too, and not get DQ'd on like doing the wrong transition and stuff like that. So I had to do a lot of these. But yeah, the focus for those is the wall, like Greg was saying, like kind of just swim smooth on the swimming part and then really try and focus on a good, solid, like fast wall and smooth. Smooth is fast. Like if you can do it smooth and not panic, it'll be fast. That was the thing that I had a hard time in the 4 a.m. is like some of those some of those turns, especially like the breaststroke pull downs. I'm just like trying not to pass
Yeah.
out.
Well, the
It
back
was
to
tough.
breast turn can be tough. I mean, some people do an open turn, but these people used to do backflips. Now they do like the hybrid crossover. I mean, you're not getting air on the wall, so
Yeah.
when you do that and then you go into a pull down. Oh,
I
I
I
can
did the
recall so
backflip.
many
I did the
times, dude.
backflip
Oh, you did the
turn
backflip.
and I had
I can
like
recall
uh,
so many times where you're like on a pull down, you like rush through it so you can get up to the surface, get some
yeah,
air.
dude. Yeah.
That makes you tough though. And
Yeah.
then you'll get better, right? And that's the whole point. Like you'll get more comfortable with it. And yeah, it'll make you a
Hmm.
better swimmer. Like Nate said on this our recent episode, flip turning made him a better swimmer and when he wasn't really doing that much swim training.
Yeah, and honestly, those things are great too, because every once in a while I get punched in the face in a triathlon swim and I want to take a breath, but you don't get any air because someone punched you in the face or you swallowed water. And it's like, well, this is no big deal. I do a
Yeah,
backflip on my 4 a.m.
I've been here before.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah,
No,
this is cool.
definitely.
I like it.
And then the last set is, which I really like. Odds, easy, evens are just like strong, fast, and it says I am order. So you do that twice because it'd be eight fast. So you
Hmm.
fly back breast free, and you get two of each stroke kind of fast. I always kind of say doing a little bit of fast stuff at the end of workout or something like kind of strides for running, like help your efficiency maybe when you're a little tired.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of that. So I like ending with a little speed. I mean, she's not saying, or I don't know why I keep saying she. I'm not sure. I think it's a woman coach. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
it's not, oh, let's crush a bunch of hundreds fast at the end. It's like
Hmm.
these small snippets when you're tired. It's not the
Hmm.
time to set your record on this like big speed set, but a little bit of short, fast stuff, you can still get the quality reps in. Yeah, so I think that's a good move at the end of the workout.
Yeah, and it's not like the classic triathlete, oh, just pull 4 500s at the end of the so it's not like
Yeah.
something like that.
Let me
This is how
just
you
get
get
to
fast, people.
5K. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Man, it's okay. Hey, we're triathletes too. If we're making fun of you, we are one of you, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I feel like my hot take kind of actually goes in with the. Well, so yeah, that's the end
That's
of the
it.
workout, by the
Do
way.
like 200 warm down. Okay, great. What's the hot take?
Warm down. Well, it's actually kind of volume triathlon is. My hot take is that like 15,000, yards or meters is the minimum amount you need to like execute a race at an Olympic distance or longer to execute that properly, like for your fitness. That's the minimum amount of like volume that you need to sustain, or else you won't you won't finish the swim like you're capable of, even if you're just adding, if you swim 10K a week, it's just not quite enough. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that hot. I'm sure people might disagree or maybe agree. But if you're out there and anyone I write swim workouts for, I'll give them four swims a week minimum, and it's always about 15K or more. And I think that's just the minimum level you need to finish a
Mhm.
1500 swim. Might sound like a lot, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, and if you're a pro level triathlete, like maybe Ari, you're listening to this podcast or some other pros who listen. Um, I heard that I don't know where I heard this, but like 25K a week, that's just the price of admission. Like
Yeah,
that's
heck
just
yeah,
that's
dude.
just getting you to the start line as a pro or even a competitive age grouper, to be honest, because some age groupers are swimming really fast these days.
Yeah.
Um, 25K, it's like there's no shortcuts. Like you got to get a good amount of swimming in. And part of why I got so good in community college is we're swimming friggin' 40K weeks, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I swim about 20K normally, but the weeks before races, sometimes I'll throw in
Hmm.
like a 25K, and I put in more yards probably than most pros out there. But
Yeah.
still, it's like I'm still doing 20, right? I mean, it's
Hmm.
like, yes, and it's not all about volume, but in the end, it also is a lot about volume.
Yeah.
But don't go crush a bunch of threshold, like, oh, threshold, 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 threshold. Like, no, no, no. Like,
Hmm.
have a good, well-rounded workout. You just take one workout from swim sets by the pool for Monday, another one for Wednesday, another
Yeah.
one for Friday, and you got your perfect workouts and you get your volume in.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Greg, anything you want to close us out with?
Just enjoy it. Swimming's the best. Leave your watches at home. Always,
Le-
always got to remind people.
leave your hey, watches are banned now. They changed the
Oh
rules
yeah,
for
in
World
World
Triathlon.
Triathlon.
No watches in races.
Someone tagged me in the post. I was like, yes,
Dude,
yes.
maybe they listened to the pod and they're like, "Yeah, Greg, he's right. Like, we should
He's
ban
actually
watches for pro
his
racing."
name. His name's Nate. I think he's like a Canadian, like ITU young kid. So
Dude, heck yeah.
hopefully he's listening. And shout out Nate. Appreciate the tag.
Awesome.
Spread the gospel. Good word.
Yeah.
All right.
See you
All
guys.
right. Cheers. Later.